I'm Rob Wheely, and I'm the CEO of Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists. We're the world's largest provider of wheel refinishing, remanufacturing, and wheel replacement. My dad was a car enthusiast, always working on cars of his own and new projects. That passed down to me, and it still grows with me today. Wheels have become the jewelry of the car. People want their wheels to look nice. We provide basic refinishing of wheels. We have remanufacturing facilities that provide extensive repair. We also have put all of our processes through an independent facility that's accredited. You can find those certifications on our website. We do it all. You bring your wheel to us and we'll figure it out. We strive for not just customer service experience, but customer excellence. We want to wow them so they come back each and every time. All of our technicians are trained and certified. We even have a master training course. It's important to love what you do. It's important to make employees feel a part of the team, and they're seeing the same rewards as you do. That's what helps us accomplish our goal. Everybody's our customer. The retail public, dealerships, body shops, insurance companies, warranty companies. We have a claims department. We're the ones that they call to come in and repair it. So if you find yourself in need of wheel refinishing, wheel repair, wheel replacement, or if you just want to custom color your wheels, give us a call. We'll help you find the right location, or you can go to our website. There's a locator on there to find the location closest to you.
Hello everybody, welcome into the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the elimination race in the round of 12. Thank you all for tuning in. You're watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Got a fun one here tonight. I already started off with the fact that it's the elimination race, but nonetheless, it's at the Charlotte Roval, one of the most chaotic tracks that we're going to head to. Of course, Talladega last week. And if that race wasn't crazy enough, wait till you see what we're going to get here tonight. Let's get right down trackside and get things kicked off with your race info here tonight. You see it there, kind of a mix, road course and oval. That's why they call it the Charlotte Roval. Track length in total is just under 2.25 miles. Starting track temp here tonight, it's going to be 84 degrees. It's the Charlotte Roval 124 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. 55 laps here tonight. Makes up your 124 miles, 100% fuel. Everybody is going to have 4 sets of tires, no fast repairs, open setups. And there will be 3 green-white checkers if we need them. Weather outside, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 28% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and a little breezy out there. Currently gusting at 10 miles an hour. And as we roll now into your starting grid here tonight, pole is going to be a big deal when we talk about the fact that, you know, I mentioned the green-white checkers. We're not going to actually need those tonight. Cautions are off. Not similar to what we saw at Watkins Glen and some of the other road courses where it just had to be a certain amount of incidents for the caution to fly. No cautions whatsoever here tonight. So if you catch yourself in a pickle, it could certainly ruin your race and your playoff hopes. Tyler Marble, he will roll off from the pole. He'll have Austin Fitzgerald to his outside in second. It's going to be Andrew Kotska in third with his teammate Cody Richardson rounding out row number 2. Joshua Watson starts from the 5th position. Jacob Musso in 6th. Jeff Shutt back in 7th with Jeff Marble in 8th, Bill Benedict in 9th, and Adrian Watts rounding out your top 10. Brian Conklin in 11th, Danny Gutierrez in 12th, Cody Colley in 13th, Cody Matthews in 14th, Alan Pajari and Thomas O'Hara making up row 8. It's going to be Jeffrey Souza and Johnny McCulloch for No Excuses Racing making up row number 9. Scott Glassell will start from 19th, Jared Bundy rounding out your top 20, and the last car in the field tonight is going to be Glenn Grigsby in 21st position. So as the field rolls down the back straightaway, right now, coming into what is going to be the first chicane. And we'll have to break the track down kind of as we go through. We'll be taking different onboard rides with different guys. But, you know, you're not going to hear me saying turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 throughout the entirety like we normally do here. Is we're going to have a couple cars just roll right on through. They don't want to risk potentially any contact, playing it safe. And what I mean by what I'm talking about there is this track in total, in fact, we can bring up your track map there, has, I mean, count them with me here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere between, I'm going to say 11 and 14 turns. I'm not sure how they count the chicanes. The point is, these guys are going to be going left and right here tonight. With it being an elimination race, no cautions. I think you got to be really, really conservative out of the gate. We'll see if we see that as the pace car is going to make the hard left turn. Restart zone also in the second chicane here tonight. A little bit different from when it used to be on the front straightaway. And that is going to help Tyler Marble and Austin Fitzgerald get away to a great restart. There it is. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Charlotte. Good start for Tyler Marble. He's going to try to get things sorted out before they even get to turn one. And, I mean, you saw it all the way back through the field. A very, very conservative start for every single driver in here tonight. Nobody want to make contact, but we do have an issue here. Conklin. And now the 37 is around. That's one of the playoff drivers. And that is the first turn on the circuit on the first lap. Trying to see if the 37 got too much damage. Doesn't look like it. Can't tell if maybe he got a little bit in the rear. We'll take a look back at that in just a moment. Meanwhile, up front, Tyler Marble trying to get everything sorted out and get a feel for it. And we know he's a road course guy. Got the win, of course, at Watkins Glen, or excuse me, Sonoma. And he's looking to see if he can make it a second win at the road courses here on the season tonight. Andrew Kotska currently sitting in third. Cody Richardson just behind him. Those two teammates, both of them looking to see if they can make it to the next round in the playoffs. Right now, their chances looking pretty good here. As I was looking, I wonder if some of these guys' paint schemes didn't update. That's certainly what it's looking like. We'll see if we can get that fixed here momentarily. The 72 of Johnny McCulchuk in 17th. And as everybody works their way through the chicane for the first time, backstretch chicane. Oh, Glenn Grigsby's going to miss it big time. So looks like a couple rows behind him. And now we got to spin the 07 of Thomas O'Hara around in the backstretch chicane. Now, I believe the way iRacing does it isn't quite like real life where you have to completely come to a stop. I think it's just you have to give up a certain amount of time. And it's a 55-lap event. That first pit stop expecting probably to be somewhere around lap 29 to lap 31. At least based off info we had from courtesy of Johnny McCulchuk. There's Jacob Musso currently sitting in the 6th position. He is in that 6 car here tonight. Excuse me, 95. I don't know. He's in 6th place in the 95 car here tonight. You go back a little bit further. Danny Gutierrez, a guy that's kind of hovering around the cutoff line, and he's going to have a decent run here tonight. A pretty good run last week, of course, at Talladega, but it's going to be borderline on whether or not that's enough to get through. More trouble here for Jacob Musso further out back. I think he went through a little detour through the grass, and so did Jeffrey Souza. They both were able to manage it, though. Keep it tight. And, man, we have had a lot of incidents here on the opening couple of laps. Let's take a look at some of them here. This is going to be the first incident, and this is on the restart for Brian Conklin. And there's the 37. Started in pretty decent position, about middle of the pack. He's going to look to the inside right here of Bill Benedict. Yeah, just gets loose, back end snaps around. And, man, fortunate for a couple guys that were trying to dodge that. Took some heavy hits that they probably didn't want to. And then Johnny McCulchuk, second incident of the night, also on the restart. I have a feeling this is going to be one of the guys that maybe made contact here with Brian. You see he's a little bit further back trying to get that thing woed up. And, yep, just going to have to sneak around. I don't think he got himself into too much trouble. And then this is the first time these guys were going down the back straightaway. Thomas O'Hara is going to run into some problems right here. Watch the 07. Big checkup. There's Glenn Grigsby missing it. And the 07 just not going to be able to make it. Gets on the turtles. And that's going to send him right around. And then just recently, guys going through the grass trying to get every inch they can of racetrack here. And you can see Jeffrey Souza just watched it a little bit wide. This was about the same thing that happened for Musso. And then Joshua Watson as well. Oh, finds himself in the grass. This is not where the 01 wants to be. Especially a guy who had to feel like he had a pretty good shot at it tonight. Let's watch what happens here. That's the 95 Jacob Musso. Musso gets loose. And Watson's trying to check up. Unfortunately, just can't miss him. Once you get set in the grass, sometimes it's just so hard to get out. That's going to cost Watson probably about a handful of positions. And he is going to have to fight now the next 52 laps to try to make them up. Meanwhile, up front, a change for the lead in just about the last lap and a half. Austin Fitzgerald has now taken it from Tyler Marble. Just behind him, Cody Richardson slid really wide. That's a big hit for the 46. Huge damage for Cody Richardson as he overshoots turn number 1. And this is going to be a night ender for the 46 car, who looked like he was in position to advance. And, oh, man, you got to wonder, how is this going to affect his chances now? We're going to be taking a look at the playoff picture. Cody had a strong qualifying effort, very fast tonight. And he just overshot it right there down into turn 1. Let's go back and take a look. Well, this was Cody Matthews just before Cody Richardson had his incident. And is Cody just going to get, just too hot. Big contact with the wall. Now you go back here to Cody Richardson. And this one you could see developing right as the camera angle was getting ready to switch. And this is a hard hit for a turn that you wouldn't expect these guys to be going that fast through. It really does a lot of damage to these cars. Here you go. He's going to get down in the turn and just lock up. Made some contact with the wall actually on the straightaway. And, man, just destroyed the entirety of the right front on that 46 machine. So you see we now have 2 cars already retired from the race from the looks of it. Cody Richardson and Cody Matthews. But Austin Fitzgerald continues to try to put a little bit of a healthy gap now between him and Tyler Marble. That gap is currently up to almost 2 seconds. Of course, only 5 laps in, though. A lot of things to still happen. Let's see if we can get a quick refresh on the trading paint so we can get these guys' respective schemes up here tonight. Again, not sure what the deal is. Sometimes trading paints doesn't like to work for us here tonight. And as we look here, let's go ahead and refresh it real quick. Apologize for a little bit of delay. Give me just a moment. And there we go. We are back live, and that should get these guys loaded up here. We'll give them a couple laps to see if that gets things changed. So going back a little bit further here. In fact, before we go any further, I think we really need to head over and take a look at how the playoff standings looked after Talladega, of course, coming in here to Charlotte tonight. And so we'll head over there and do that now. All right, here's what the playoff picture is looking like. Again, the last race in the round of 12 here tonight. And so you look at Cody Richardson. He was 4th coming into this race. Really just needed, I would say, a decent run. Maybe could have even afforded a bad run. But, man, you look at it. He was, let's see, looking at it at 77. I believe he would be 20. I believe right now he was about 22 points to the good. And there is 21 guys here tonight. So I think he'll still be okay. But it's going to be close, and we'll have to see how it pans out when the race is all said and done. But Jeff Shutt, Andrew Niedert, Scott Glasso, and Sean Kaltenbach, all 4 of those guys outside looking in. And those 2 Team Watson Racing drivers, they lost one of their teammates in the last round. Of course, Brian Curry, they're looking to see if they can advance to the round of 8, but one of them's probably going to need a win. And if you're Sean Kaltenbach, you're just going to need to have a pretty solid run here. Maybe see if you can gain positions on maybe a guy like Danny Gutierrez or Andrew Kotska. Good news for Conklin is he got that win last week, so he should be advanced into the next round. Yeah, sure enough. And then Joshua Watson still leading with those 12 wins on the season. Not looking like he's going to really be able to get... Actually, he might have a chance, currently sitting, looks like about 15 seconds back from the leader. So I'm going to say he's probably not going to add the 13th here tonight. And I say that because of the fact that there's no caution. So, I mean, again, all the guys that made mistakes early, they are going to be fighting under green flag conditions for the rest of this race to try to make up whatever time they lost. But Austin Fitzgerald continues to stretch it out. Looks like it's started to flatten out here a little bit as Tyler Marble maybe starting to find a little something. Let's take a ride on board here with this 48 car for a lap and see if we can break down the Charlotte Roval just a little bit better for you guys watching at home. Here we go. Start of the lap. Going to get up. And actually, he's not going to switch to 3rd gear. Heavy braking zone here. The first of many. Got up to just under 100 miles an hour there. This turn is very, very slick. You got to be smooth with it. And a little rhythm section right here as all these turns kind of feel the same. He's going to hold the steering wheel right for the next 2 turns. Gets on the gas here. This is one of the little bit of the faster turns on the circuit. I believe this would be turn 5. Either turn 5 or 6. And then there's a narrow one right here is where you really got to make sure that you hit the apex perfect. Coming out of this turn, make sure you get right up along the wall, arc it in. And you see just how close he gets to that inside tires as he's trying to carry a lot of momentum onto the first oval part of the track. And he holds it down here. The highest, probably the fastest part of the track right here is off of 2 down to this backstretch chicane. And they're going to get up to almost 170 miles an hour before another heavy, heavy braking zone into the tight backstretch chicane, which you can see using all of the rumble strips and even some of the sausage curb. And they really widen out the exit going below the apron here before they come back up. And the second oval portion of the track. And Tyler through this part is going to get up to just about 160 miles an hour before another heavy braking zone into the front stretch chicane, which is a lot narrower and a lot tighter. You can see he's got to use a lot more of the sausage curbs, which they can get you into trouble. You got to be really careful with how much you use those curbs, especially once we get on old tires and the car doesn't really want to stick to the track too well. It's easy to get tire spin and get yourself spun out. look from the gearbox of your current leader, Austin Fitzgerald, as he continues to tick off laps. Looking to only be about a one-stop race. Again, we're expecting that pit stop on somewhere between lap 29 and 31. These guys might be able to go a couple more or a couple less, depending on how their cars are set up here tonight. Joshua Watson, though, think he's going to get my vote wherever he finishes here tonight for the best paint scheme again. October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Joshua Watson has been rocking it for a couple races now. He's got another good-looking one here tonight. Taking a look. There you go. Does have some damage, though, on the left front, hurting that paint scheme just a little bit. You can see it's got the hood, and actually the left front splitter crumpled up a little bit, but he seems to still be able to run pretty good pace. Again, that's not going to really be a race killer in the sense of you don't need aerodynamics too much here at a road course, especially with how stocky these cars are. But with no cautions, and right now, I mean, you see the gap is about almost 17 seconds back for Joshua Watson. It's going to be a lot of time for him to make up. Trying to catch his teammate, though, right now, one of the rookies on the season, Adrian Watts, currently sits in that 5th position, and he is up 5 from where he started. A little bit of a lock up there through the front stretch chicane before he gets hard back on the throttle. And up front right now, I think the only guys that you could really say with fairness are in range of the leader. Of course, Tyler Marble, who is now back almost 3.3 seconds. Andrew Kotska still hanging around within about 6 seconds. But after that, I mean, Jeff Marble back 10 seconds now. It is just so impressive at how much of a clinic Fitzgerald is putting on here early. Now, it does look like we've had a couple more incidents here. Johnny McCulchuk looks like may have went off track here a little bit. Let's take a look. Yeah, it just gets a little wide in the grass. But he was able to get back on. Looked like he only got 2 tires in it. So while he does have some heavy damage, was able to hold on to it for the most part that time. And then Scott Glasso here. This is going to be coming into the back stretch chicane. No, front stretch chicane, rather. And, oh, yeah, just coming in way too hot. It's going to get into the artificial turf. But, again, still able to get it wound up. And I got to wonder if that's because it's artificial turf. Grass in some parts here, especially through the infield. But on the front straightaway, it's all artificial turf. So you got to think there's going to be some more grip than grass. And in that case, Scott Glasso was able to keep it straight. And he's one of the guys looking to try to advance to the next round. And he's going to have to make something happen here tonight. Currently sitting inside the top 10. Already up 10 positions from where he started. Clearly he has found some speed early. We'll see if he can hold on. There's Danny Gutierrez. So close last week at Talladega. Things, though, didn't work out as it seemed like a lot of his teammates started getting picked off at the end of the race. And then unfortunately had to pit for fuel, and then via that last green-white checker just couldn't quite make it happen. And that was in part to the pushing that this man right here was getting. Brian Conklin, first win of the season. Could not have came at a better time for the 37. It came last week at Talladega. And now this week currently running in 13th, but he does have some damage, of course, from that first lap spin. But he is locked into the next round. He's ready to go see if he can fight to go for a championship, make his way into the round of 4. Glenn Grigsby back in 16th. Actually a great run so far for Glenn. Could be looking for potentially another season best finish here tonight if he can continue to move in the positive direction. He's already up 5 from where he started, and the pace he's running, he's on track for potentially a top 10 finish by the end of this race if he can keep it up. There's Alan Pajari, the big gut, new paint scheme tonight. A little bit of a lockup there. And you don't really realize it from certain camera views, but at the Roval, there's really a lot of elevation change. And that's what makes these cars so hard to get through the corners. It's not so much the corners themselves. It's when you're going, for the most part, probably downhill, which actually we'll see right here with Fitzgerald. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about as he works into. Watch this next corner that he's about to come into. See how it goes uphill? And then right there as he works around it, it's an uphill section. The car does not like to turn too well around it. Now he gets a little bit of downhill elevation before he gets back onto the oval portion of the track. He's doing a great job of keeping it under him so far. Austin Fitzgerald is one of the guys that is carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. We'll take a look at it in just a minute. And how cool would it be for him to get his first win of the playoffs here tonight if he can hold him off? The 01 of Watson's still back there. Jeff Shutt, another one of your playoff drivers that made it into the round of 12, looking to see if he can find a way into the round of 8. He currently sits in 7th. Jacob Musso back in 8th. There's Scott Glasso still hanging around in 9th, but catching that 95 car. Bill Benedict in 12th. Brian Conklin 13th. Jared Bundy in 14th. Alan Pajari back in 15th. Glenn Grigsby in 16th. Thomas O'Hara in 17th. Johnny Mikulchuk in 18th. And pause on Johnny here for just a moment, as it looks like he's also rocking a breast cancer awareness paint team here tonight, at least with the pink and blue. That would certainly be my guess. Mainly the pink. But he is one of the guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight, and had an idea. He said he's thinking about trying to set up a mount for a pedal cam. And that would have certainly been a cool sight to see here tonight with the amount of shifting that goes on. These guys are doing just as much, if not more, work with their feet, controlling the clutch, brake, and gas as they are with their hands to keep turning the car left and right. Appreciate Johnny for carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. Austin Fitzgerald continues to lead, another guy with the onboard camera. And he's got one of the nicer sim rigs in here, I would have to say, with the triple monitor setup. Looks like he's got the full racing seat. And man, he is doing a lot of work. You can see all the shifting that goes on as he does use a sequential. Watch him go through the gears right here. He gets to speed. There's another shift. There's another one. And you remember, you got to pull it back to shift. Might look a little odd for people who are used to the old H pattern. Tyler Marble currently sitting in second and still not really been able to find anything to close on the 74 car, who has just found a rhythm and been on absolute rails. But what these guys have all started doing is finding some lap traffic. And it looks like Mikulchuk is already 3 laps down. Richardson's still in the pits after that big impact earlier. And so we have multiple guys that are multiple laps down. And then it looks like Thomas O'Hara is going to be the first one a lap down. And you go back a little bit further here to find Jeff Marble in 4th. Good run so far. Road course for him tonight. And he is our final driver carrying an onboard camera. And look at his hands working. He is trying everything to make sure he keeps that car under him. And he's going to have to do this still for probably about another 42 laps. And just in front of these guys, Cody Matthews has returned back out on track, but still has heavy, heavy damage. As we go back, let's try to see if we can find a little bit further in the pack. Glenn Grigsby, looks like he's actually fallen out of position back in 16th. Ooh, missed the chicane. And you got to remember the way iRacing makes it work. You saw right there, you don't have to really come to a complete stop, but you have to slow down and give up a certain amount of time. And that's exactly what he was able to do right there. Coming down the front straightaway again for Austin Fitzgerald to complete lap 14 now. What I'm a little curious about is, does he think about trying a different strategy here in terms of pit stops? I feel like the only real strategy that I see maybe you try here is if you decide to go in on maybe lap 27 and try to split this, lap 27 or 28 rather, and try to split this right down the middle. But I mean, if you're Fitzgerald and you're in a rhythm, I almost think you do the opposite and pit as late as possible. Tyler, on the other hand, might try something, put some stickers on it, see if he can't maybe try to close the deficit here on Austin Fitzgerald. And all it would take is one mistake. You see, man, Glenn Grigsby slip up a little bit there in the background. He just fell a lap down to the 74 machine. And go back, you see there's not really all that much battling going on track right now. We'll go back here between these two. Scott Glasso has caught up to the back bumper now of Jeff Shutt. It looked like Musso actually got around Shutt. We'll see here, can Glasso find a way around in the next lap or so? And he is just going to play his cards real carefully here. He knows he's got plenty of time. No point in rushing it. We'll see, does Jeff Shutt let him go? I think Jeff did. You know what? That's a smart move right there by Jeff Shutt. No point in putting yourself in a bad spot. If you feel like the guy behind you is a lot faster, let him go right now. And I mean, you never know. You make some adjustments. You pick up some speed later in this race. Maybe he'll find a way to be faster than Glasso, and Glasso will return the favor with how Jeff was able to just kind of let him by for now. And I mean, you can hear it. There is not much throttle time. I'm telling you, I don't care what people say. These cars, to me, they're not meant to be on a road course like this. They just don't look like they handle too well on them. Guys are not really touching the throttle much except for the high speed sections. But nonetheless, it certainly is a very, very technical challenge that these guys are being put up here tonight. Last week, Talladega was a bit of a wild card. And I would say it's just about the same here, but Austin Fitzgerald so far proving that he is one of the road course ringers in the field. Says he loves road courses, and he has proven it here tonight. As we go back a little further, there's Cody Matthews. He's going to bring it back down to the pits. There's Cody Richardson. After that incident earlier, he still currently sits on the pits. Cody Colley, the last running car, out on track. And going up a bit further, this is a battle that's about to be for some position here. Bill Benedict, Danny Gutierrez. Going to see if these two can figure out who wants 11th place more. In the last couple laps now, which you've started to notice here on this front stretch chicane, is more and more guys playing with fire in the sense of sticking 2 tires in that artificial turf. And that has nothing to do with trying to get extra grip. I think it's more or less they're just trying to take a straighter line into the chicane. You got to remember the car doesn't like turning while you're braking. So the straighter of a line you can hold under braking, the quicker it's going to stop. And the better you're going to be able to set yourself up for entry to the next corner. And here's a view off the front nose of Bill Benedict. You saw Danny Gutierrez slip up just a little bit. Right now, it looks like Bill's actually able to drive it through the center of some of these corners more. But you see, he messed himself up right there, and that's a bad place to do it. It's going to cost him a lot of time here down the backstretch. So Danny will try to sneak away, at least for now. Brian Conklin just behind Jared Bundy, who sits behind Bill Benedict. And as we go up a little bit further again, watching to see here if Scott Glasso is going to be able to track down Jacob Musso. Jeff Marble, Tyler Marble still all separated. And the gap between your leader and second place is now up to over 4.5 seconds for Austin Fitzgerald. And at a certain point, I mean, these guys are just going to run out of anything to catch. I mean, you look at 8th place, Scott Glasso. He is 40 seconds back. Now, again, looking at a lap time here, and it falls off a little bit, about 1 minute and 18 seconds for Austin Fitzgerald. So as that gap continues to stretch, there's a chance that by the end of this race, Fitzgerald may have everybody but the top 3 a lap down. And just a blistering pace. And, you know, Fitzgerald and Pajari, they're teammates, so you got to expect that they probably brought a pretty similar setup. But in terms of running position, Pajari's still back just inside the top 15th in that 15th position. Not quite able to find as much speed as his teammate has so far here tonight. In fact, you look at the lap times, and 124 the last lap. Yeah, just not really anywhere close right now, but it's just so hard on road courses. Guys drive totally different lines, and some guys have it and some guys don't. And when we went to, you know, an actual road course in terms of Watkins Glen, Sonoma, I feel like the cars handled a little bit better for a lot of these guys than Charlotte, where it just seems like every corner is so loose. Not a lot of throttle time. But Fitzgerald just continues to run an absolutely flawless line. Let's ride on board again with him. Watch as he gets into the chicane. Again, speeds have fallen off here. But you can see he's going to get up to about almost 170 miles an hour. Brakes just before the 4th marker. And that does help guys, but that should give you a hint of just how fast they're going with how early they have to brake. And the next gens have big brakes. But man, if you lock it up into that chicane, you go straight, it's going to cost you some time. But so far, Fitzgerald, he's just not made a mistake. Tyler Marble, same deal, trying everything. Might have made one mistake earlier, assuming that would have maybe been how Fitzgerald was able to get by. But besides that, they've both been about perfect. It's just been a matter of which guy's been more perfect. I think that's been Fitzgerald here tonight. Here's a different look, though, for you. Was on Tyler Marble. We saw this a little bit earlier when we rode on board. Through the front stretch, he revved it out in second, chose not to go to third. Couldn't tell that time if he was changing up a little bit and tried to go to third gear for a little bit. But any extra speed that you can squeeze out on the straightaways can translate to a lot, adds up over time. There's Jeffrey Souza back here in 10th. Currently up 7 from where he started. Bundy is up, looks like 9 from where he started. And there's Gutierrez, Benedict, and Conklin. This is about to be a 3-car battle for 12th position. So Bundy found a way around the 08s and the 90, I believe, of Bill Benedict. Danny Gutierrez, of course, always got one of the cool paint schemes. What I like about the paint schemes Danny makes is it seems like while they always seem, I would say, basic, they always look good. Like, they don't have to have a crazy design in order to still look really, really nice. And the blue, red, and white flow really nice together with the black number. So if we have completed now 18 laps, Conklin on the back bumper of Danny Gutierrez. By the way, for anybody watching here tonight, do let me know how the audio sounds. I realized it may have been just a little bit on the loud side. And I tried to turn it down here a little bit, so let me know if it sounds a bit better. Conklin gets a little bit of a wider exit right there. Or excuse me, a little bit of a narrow exit. Benedict was the one who got the wider exit, and it allowed Gutierrez to stretch a little bit. Seems like Bill is able to get into the corners more aggressive, but in the flip side, it hurts him on exit. That time he got a good run, slipped up a little bit, but he sets himself up really nicely for the backstretch. Conklin, though, is going to dive a lane lower. We'll see can the 37 try to set up a pass here going into the chicane. And it looks like Bill, very respectful again, knows it's a playoff driver. Doesn't want to battle him too hard here and accidentally cause a mistake. And so he is going to let him go. And Cody Richardson looked like maybe it came back out on track, and I'm not sure if he did or what, but he is back in the pits. And the reason I mentioned that is because we had some data here. Oh, yeah, he did. He was back out on the track, and he's going to make some more contact with the wall. You see, they fixed that damage pretty good. Of course, I think he had to put a new engine in it. I mean, at this point, if you're the 46, I got to assume you're just out here for fun, maybe hoping you can make any points. Somebody else has to retire. Take a look at the blimp cam right here. He's just going to get way too hot. Coming on to oval turn 1. And just makes some contact with the outside wall. Looks okay. And creeps down. And, oh, blew up on him again. Got to wonder, did he maybe miss a shift? I think he did. And, again, that's going to probably, well, I already thought he was dead, but he came back from the grave in terms of his night being over. Let's watch here. Does he just... So he makes slight contact with the wall earlier. Seems okay. And just goes kaboom on him. Really not sure why. I'm not sure if it's the way he had his gearing set up. I mean, again, they put a new engine. The car looked clean. And I'll tell you what, let's go see if we can pull Cody up here for a quick word. I'm very curious on what happened with that 46 machine. Hey, Cody. Ooh. Then we accidentally sent him to the wrong channel, so we'll put it back in here. Hey, Cody, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Well, tough break. Looks like the night came to an end early. The first question I want to ask for you is, what we just saw there, we took a look back at this last incident. You looked fine, and the engine just expired. What exactly happened?
Yeah, I don't really know. Going into turn 1 there, whenever I had the initial incident, the wall glue got me and messed up my turn in and sent me straight into the wall, slowed down my braking and everything. That's what caused the initial damage. Came back out, they said it was minor motor damage, and as soon as I get on the oval, the motor pops. So went from 15 minutes of required repairs, got that all fixed, and another 31, so we're taking her to the hauler. Hopefully, though, it looked like I had a 26-point buffer to Glasow. Some other guys didn't show up today because it's the Roval. So unless the 4-car wins, I believe I'm still making it through to the next round.
Certainly looked that way from what we saw, too. Now, the only thing that's kind of hurts you in the long term is it's going to put you towards the bottom, maybe looking or outside looking in for the round of 8s. But we head to a couple interesting tracks, kicking off with Vegas. How you feeling about your chances there next week?
Yeah, we've done some work on the setup and everything, and it looks pretty good for Vegas so far. Homestead's one of my favorite tracks, and we had a good run at Martinsville in the spring. So I'm not sure that we can, Andrew and I can both, think Andrew's running in 3rd place right now with the same setup I was running. He's got some speed, probably has winning speed if something can happen to Austin up there up front today. Looking good for him to be in the next round as well. Hopefully both of us can do that. I think Martinsville's one of Andrew's best tracks. Homestead's one of my best, so hopefully we can have some good runs, get through that, and make it through to the Final Four. I'd love to have 2 of us in that Final Four.
All right, well, we saw you win at a road course earlier this season. Unfortunately, not going to work out tonight. But thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you next week at Vegas.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks again. Thank everybody in the shop for putting this car together. Mad Sim Racing, Mad Spartan Sim Racing. I think we had a race-winning car tonight. It just didn't work out for us.
All right, and that is a tough break for the 46 machine, Cody Richardson. And as we slide him back down to his teammates, he didn't sound too happy about it. I mean, you can't blame him. Again, he should be good to go on points, but you hate to see a race end that way when you feel like you're so good at a track. And he talked about that wall glue. It certainly did look like he got him on that first incident. Ooh, Cody Matthews stopped on the inside wall, coming out of the chicane. And we've had a couple more incidents here just in our interview time. Jared Bundy, the first of them. And ooh's getting a little bit loose. Seems okay here, but just going to carry too much speed, and back end slips around on him. And he goes into the inside grass. Cody Matthews, though, this incident on the back straightaway. What happened here to the 10? Not been the best night for Cody, but he's been out here trying. And he's going to get down into the turn. And that second one, ooh, just locks up, gets really wide. Ouch. That's a pretty good hit to the left front for that 10 car. Fitzgerald's still leading as he's trying to maneuver his way through some more lap traffic. And as crazy as it sounds, Danny Gutierrez is the 10th place running car, and only 23 laps in, Fitzgerald is putting him a lap down. So again, with there being no cautions, I genuinely believe that Fitzgerald maybe puts everyone but the top 3 a lap down by the end of this race. Now the biggest storyline, ooh, Conklin with a big lockup right there. That was a close call. The big storyline, though, right now, I was going to say, is that Tyler Marble has significantly closed the gap. I'm not sure if it was just Fitzgerald struggling with traffic, and Tyler is probably on the radio screaming right now, get out of the way, as he knows this is his chance to maybe finally start to close the gap up on Fitzgerald. Not sure, maybe he saved a little bit of tire, or maybe he's found something. Dirty Air, not really so much what's hurting him right here, more or less just when he catches these guys in an awkward spot. And Conklin, his teammate here, Tyler might be saying, Brian, can you get out of the way here as soon as we get to a good spot for it? Tyler going to close up big time on the back of that 37 car through the chicane. And I look to see Brian probably hop out of the way here through this next chicane. But I don't think that Danny's going to be so much of an easy pass. And man, tell you what, once Fitzgerald got around these two, he was able to make pretty quick work after that. I mean, he's already got it stretched back out another second at 3.5 now. And there you go, Tyler Marble. See how these guys are kind of ducking their left. Oh, he turned Gutierrez. Oh, man, Tyler just absolutely blew the turn right there. And he did not mean to do that, but oh, man. That is going to be a bad break for Danny Gutierrez as well. How far is he going to fall from this? Heavy front end damage to the 08 machine. And man, Danny really needed to have a good run here tonight. Looking at the picture, looked like he had a good shot of making it in, but this could hurt him depending on if he has to pit. Taking a look at the cockpit view here, we'll see just how crippled it is, but at least in terms of cosmetic, it is not looking good. Let's go back and take a look at it. I'm not sure if Danny slipped up or if Tyler just caught him way faster than he expected to. There you see, they're not really anywhere close when they first come in, and then Danny gets on the turf. Seems good. Danny really, man, I mean, Tyler was just carrying a ton of speed. Actually, I don't think Tyler was going to make that. I'm not sure how Tyler got in there so hot. But yeah, he does, and just turns Gutierrez straight into that outside wall and almost gets himself spun around in the process. But man, oh man, Danny Gutierrez not going to be a fan of that one right there. Was 10th, now back to 13th. But again, we just continue to keep the big question of how fast is that car going to be able to run with no front end for the rest of this race? And still out on track. We'll see if we can take a look at the dashboard speeds here. I feel like it would only hurt him for the most part on the straightaways. But if he brings it to pits, yeah, he's going to. This could bring Danny Gutierrez's playoffs to an end. We'll have to keep an eye on how it moves throughout the rest of the race. But the 08 not looking too good here to move on to the round of 8 with that incident right there. Good news is he still has, I believe, either a half a lap or a lap on most of the guys that are probably about 5 to 10 positions behind him. Meanwhile, Austin Fitzgerald up front, man, through that mistake from Tyler Marble, that cost Tyler some positions too. He fell back to 5th. Andrew Kotska is taking over 2nd, but he currently sits about 7, almost 8 seconds behind Fitzgerald. And as we are approaching the halfway point in this race, going to be expecting pit stops. Probably about another 5 to 6 laps or so. So we're going to take our first break tonight. We'll go side by side. We'll be back to Charlotte Roval. Back live at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Charlotte Roval 124 elimination race in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series playoff round of 12. Austin Fitzgerald has led just about all of them so far, minus a couple at the start. And the gap now is up to almost 9 seconds over second place Andrew Kotska. Pit stops, though, going to be expected here in about three or four laps here now for Austin Fitzgerald. Still waiting to see when he's going to come in. Now, the good news here for Fitzgerald is when you have a gap this big, there is absolutely no reason to push the pace onto the pits. He's not going to try to make up any time. He will be ultra conservative here. I don't even know if he might do only a couple downshifts instead of trying to get in late and use engine braking. He doesn't need to. Just make sure you roll in smooth, get into your pit box nice and easy. He'll take 4 tires and fuel. And then once he comes back out, it's just going to be, can he do exactly what he's been doing for 28 laps so far and try to cap this thing off. 55 laps, pretty long ways around here, the Charlotte Roval 2, especially when each lap is about a minute and 18 seconds, at least if you're running as fast as Austin Fitzgerald is. And man, he just makes that front stretch chicane look so smooth. As we go back and take a look at a couple of these other guys, Tyler Marble still trying to recover. He is currently in 5th, but he's knocking on the back door of Joshua Watson. The back bumper, rather. And we'll see if he can get around him here before the entrance to turn number 1. He's going to set himself up, see if he can get a good run out of this next chicane now. Last time Tyler got this close, things got a little interesting. We'll see if he's able to take a different approach this time. And again, you don't necessarily try to pass someone in the front stretch chicane. And well, actually, Watson's going to let him go because he's going to pit this time. Joshua Watson looks like he's going to be, I believe, the first of the guys to pit as well. See how this strategy works out for the 01. Going to try to change it up. We said about 29 to 31 laps is the window. So it looks like Watson would be on the early end of the window, but plenty good to make it the rest of the way on fuel after this stop. And we'll see what he decides to take. Look for the left and right side to jack up. And also, does he choose to fix the damage? I don't really think it's worth it. And actually, he's not even going to take any tires. That's a certainly interesting call here for Joshua Watson. He just fills it up with fuel, and he's going to go. Some guys do, for whatever reason here, I've heard it before, they prefer old tires on a road course. We'll see what Fitzgerald does. That was a really interesting call right there for Watson, especially when you know that there's not going to be any cautions. Let's see if Fitzgerald chooses to take 4 or none right here. He, of course, will have the second box on the pits. Brings it down, comes to a halt. And then you see the pink pit boxes as well. And no, he's not going to take tires either. He will only take fuel. So a very interesting call here that I will say I didn't expect. And that is, looks like so far everybody pitting, at least all of the guys in the top 10, they don't want tires. So we'll see how that all pans out. Andrew Kotska is going to hold the lead for a moment. He will get to lead probably at least 1 lap here. Yeah, no, he already got the lead his 1. We'll see how many, though, he decides to stay out and lead for. Now, he did put out a poll earlier and said, will we see a new winner tonight? Looks like it was a 50-50 split. 2 guys said yes. 2 guys said no. This was an incident here just recently involving Johnny McCulchuk. He's going to go for a little bit of a detour. Getting wide. And it's going to say hi to the fans. It's able to keep it out of the wall, though. Again, no harm, no foul. So as Kotska stays out now, as we have completed 30 of 55 laps. Jeff Marble in second. He is currently 13 seconds behind your leader. Austin Fitzgerald back in 3rd now. Tyler Marble in 4th. And you know what? Let's go back there for a minute. Think about that. Jeff Marble and Andrew Kotska have not pit yet. And for Austin Fitzgerald to come out and still be that close to these two is unbelievable. Tyler Marble back in 4th. Adrian Watts in 5th. Joshua Watson in 6th after his pit stop. Jeff Shutt in 7th. Jacob Musso back in 8th. Scott Glasso in 9th. Ryan Conklin rounding out your top 10. It's Jeffrey Souza in 11th. Jared Bundy in 12th. Bill Benedict in 13th. Thomas O'Hara back in 14th with Alan Pajari 15th. Glenn Grigsby in 16th. Danny Gutierrez in 17th. And then the guys, well, actually more than this, but the guys that are more than a lap down. It's going to start with, looks like actually Danny Gutierrez was 2 laps out, I believe. Johnny McCulchuk, though, in 18th. Cody Colley in 19th. Cody Matthews in 20th. Cody Richardson 21st. Both of those last 2 cars have unfortunately had to retire for the night, as it is now 25 laps to go for Andrew Kotska. Fitzgerald, I mean, at this rate, jokingly, he might get back to Kotska before Kotska's able to make it into the pits, but putting all joking aside, Kotska's going to have to bring it down here, and probably this lap or the next lap. Really don't know how he's still out there, and yeah, sure enough, he's going to bring it down this time. Must have been on fumes. And we'll see if trying to stay out a little bit later helps or hurts him. And now watch for Austin Fitzgerald. He's closing this gap up quick. Second running car now working his way through 3 and 4, getting ready to come down the front stretch chicane. Let's actually ride on Kotska here through pits and show you. It's a little bit of an interesting exit here at pit road, as it's almost a turn in itself. And you do have to be careful, especially these guys should be okay because they're all on warmer tires, but man, on cold tires, it becomes tricky. Let's see what Kotska's going to take here. And just as everybody else does, he has not taken any tires. He only wants fuel. Gasses it up. Got to be smooth on exit, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Nice execution there for Andrew Kotska. Turns it down, and now he's going to try to get back through the gears, and you see the merge here. Almost like 2 turn 2s. Gets back out on track, and now he will again see if he can find anything to try to set his sights on Austin Fitzgerald. Ooh, some more trouble here. This time it's for one of the playoff drivers that really needed a win here tonight. Scott Glasso took a little bit of a detour again, similar to what we saw for Johnny McCulchuk, but I think he's okay. First, let's take a look what happens here to Cody Colley. And he's just going to go a little bit wide. Again, 4 tires on the grass, but no harm, no foul. And then Scott Glasso. This is going to be, looks like probably coming through the, oh no, gets on the sausage curbs. Man, lucky to not hit the outside tire barrier. So he was able to slide and get it wound up and point it in the right direction. But that cost him a little bit of time and potentially could end up in turn here, costing him a spot. But he is currently sitting still inside your top 10 in 8th, up 11 from where he started. Certainly been a good night up to this point. He would like to keep it that way. And as we are now rolling up to what's going to be 22 laps to go here for Austin Fitzgerald. Actually just started 23. Kotska currently sitting about 12 seconds back. And at this rate, he's going to be starting to need to make up about half a second a lap if he wants to catch Fitzgerald before the end of this race. And I just don't know if he's got that in him. But it's certainly going to probably solidify his chance to move on to the next round for both of these guys, Fitzgerald and Kotska. Tyler Marble back up to 3rd, now running in front of his teammate Jeff Marble, who sits in 4th. Team Marble iRacing looking like they're going to be able to advance all of their guys into the round of 8, assuming that Tyler's able to hang around where he sits now. And then Adrian Watts, the last guy inside your top 5. How about a little crank it up from the Charlotte Roval? Here we go. that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. Hope everybody did enjoy. Ironically enough, Roval might not be the favorited track, but boy, they got some gnarly camera angles. The 0-1 of Joshua Watson, you saw him slide around a little bit there. Here's Jacob Musso. Again, a phenomenal run here tonight for a guy that I feel like most people probably didn't expect to have this sort of speed at a road course, but he really came out here impressed tonight, representing the Musso Speed Shop, who, again, he hasn't really had his teammates for a majority of the season, but he's still out here trying to make good runs at certain tracks. Saw him last week at Talladega, and he's trying to see if he can claw his way maybe for a top 5 finish here tonight, as Austin Fitzgerald still leads. And during the Crank It Up segment, you might have saw in the tower there, the gap has extended now to almost 13 seconds between first and second. Tyler Marble trying to catch Andrew Kotska. He currently sits about 2 seconds behind. And actually, I take that back. Looks like it's more like 3.5 now, so it has stretched out a little bit between these two. And the closest battle we have on track right now, you're going to have to go back to, looks like Scott Glasso and Jeff Shutt. And these two are getting ready to be put a lap down. Jeff will probably just let Tyler go by right here. Just amazes me how close these guys are able to get to the tire barriers there as they come on to Oval 1. And if you're Tyler Marble up here, let's actually go on the onboard here for Tyler. And we'll see how he sets this up. Watch the closing distance that Tyler makes up here on Jeff Shutt, who, again, it's going to be a lap car. It just shows you the difference in speed these two have had tonight. See, Jeff takes more of a wider entry. Tyler narrows it up so that he can get a good exit, and boy, does he ever. Now, notice Jeff actually follows what would technically be track limits. But again, you don't get penalized for going below the apron. It's allowed right there. And Tyler Marble's been using it to his full advantage. Now watch him dip his left sides here just ever so slightly into that artificial turf. And he's going to try to make the Sauces curbs as much of a straightaway as he can. And Andrew Kotska's still sitting about 1.5 seconds in front. Lap times, let's take a look at them real quick here for Austin Fitzgerald. We saw 1:18s, and it's much less the same so far. Remember, nobody took tires, so you wouldn't expect the lap times to really change too much. And I feel like the guy that I thought was maybe trying some strategy here was Joshua Watson. And it's hard to say on how much it worked out for him. He's still hanging right around where he came into pits, right around that top 5 area, currently in 5th. And he's got no one around him either. I mean, he's on an island. He is going to be in the next round, though. No questions about it. He's just looking to see if he can finish that off with a decent finish. Cody Richardson looks like will be scored as the last car on track here tonight, but says he feels like he should be safe as long as Scott Glasso doesn't get the win. And right now, that 4 car is a long way from the win. In fact, he's over 1 minute and 20 seconds away as he currently sits a lap down. 19 laps to go now. Back up front, Austin Fitzgerald coming into the front stretch chicane. Make it 18 to go. And you can see just how busy the track is right now. It's a road course, but we got guys everywhere. Take a look at your running order again. Cody and Cody, actually all 3 Codys, Cody Colley, Cody Matthews, and Cody Richardson, all currently retired from the race. Cody is sitting on pit road right now. Car seems to be okay. Johnny McCulchuk in 18th, Thomas O'Hara in 17th. And there's Danny Gutierrez, getting a little update on him from earlier. Remember, Tyler Marble and Danny Gutierrez both involved in that incident that sent the 08 hard into the outside wall and gave him that big front end damage that he has. And he had been inside your top 10 for all the way up until then. And now he finds himself outside of the top 15. We're going to have to see if he's still able to advance after this race. Glenn Grigsby in 15th, Alan Pajari in 14th. Bill Benedict currently sitting in 13th, Brian Conklin in 12th. Jared Bundy 11th, Jeffrey Souza in 10th. Jeff Shutt currently sits in 9th, Scott Glasso 8th. Jacob Musso in 7th, Adrian Watts in 6th. Joshua Watson currently the last man inside your top 5. He sits 5th. Jeff Marble in 4th. Tyler Marble in 3rd. Andrew Kotska in 2nd. And Austin Fitzgerald, as he works his way down the front straightaway, still leading the way here at Charlotte. And I think he has led probably all but about maybe 5 laps in total between the start of the race, where Tyler, of course, had pole, and then the pit cycles. But Fitzgerald was the fastest guy in practice, so you knew he was going to have the speed just based off those results. And I think he's a guy that really loves Las Vegas as well. That's where we head next week. So, man, we talk about getting on hot streaks. If he could get on one here tonight with a win, carry that momentum into next week, he has a very, very good shot at making it to the Final Four. I feel like he is one of your championship favorites. And if I had to make, this is just off the top of my mind of guys that I've maybe seen towards the front the most, and terms of at this exact moment, what I would predict for the Final Four, I think I would have to say it would be Fitzgerald, Tyler Marble, Jeff Marble, and probably Joshua Watson. However, there's a lot of guys. You look at Cody Richardson, Danny Gutierrez, and a bunch more that have shown speed. The guys still in the playoffs that is at the right time. Scott Glatzer, Jeff Shutt, how do you think they got in there? Consistency. And that might be all it takes if one of them can squeak into the next round. I don't know if both of them are going to quite make it. And maybe they can give one of the underdogs a victory here, even without a win on the season. So we come now to take 16 laps to go. There is Jeff Shutt, the 27, currently on the backstretch chicane. And, you know, everybody's really gotten things cleaned up pretty well from the restart. I would say about the first quarter of the race was really the most chaotic part. And just as I say that, McCulchuk's going to go around. The 72, does he get into the outside wall? I think he did. Yeah, he certainly did. You see some damage there on the left front. And I don't think it hurt the suspension, so he will roll on and continue. But I'm thinking this is going to be just a little bit of wheel spin out of the chicane. It's going to cost him. Let's take a look from the TV static view of it. So he gets down in. He looked okay through it. Ooh, a little bumpy. No harm, no foul. But yeah, right here just... Yeah, you saw it actually wheel hopping a little bit, and that's a pretty hard hit. And now it looks like Johnny McCulchuk with another issue. This is down the front straightaway. Getting down into this chicane. Is he going to get wheel hop yet again? Oh no, this time he just blows it. And he's going to come to a stop on the front straightaway to get that sorted out. And oh, actually, he's going to just end it there for the night. I think Johnny decided enough was enough. I mean, hey, if you're not having fun, there's no point in staying out. Certainly don't blame that call for Johnny McCulchuk. It looked like he might have to join Cody Richardson and Cody Matthews in the hauler. So we go back live, though. Still no. Actually, let's head back live, rather. Austin Fitzgerald still leading. There's McCulchuk, who took it to the pits. And if we go back, Andrew Koska taking a look at the gap. It is almost 15 seconds now. And as it stands, it looks like Adrian Watts, I believe, did he just go a lap down? I can't tell. I think he did. He may not have yet. We'll have to see when it all refreshes and whatnot. But right now, it looks like the way this race would end would be the top four staying on the lead lap and borderline on whether or not Joshua Watson's going to be able to hang on to the lead lap, as he is now currently almost a minute behind. And there you see Adrian Watts currently about a minute and 2 seconds behind. And Fitzgerald has just been so strong. I know we keep talking about him, but I mean, what else can you do when you have a guy that's lapped pretty much the entire field in the length of a 55-lap race? Glenn Grigsby, the 64, there he is in 15th. I'll tell you what, before Johnny heads out right here, let's see if we could get him in here for a quick word on how he's felt about tonight. Hey Johnny, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy? And we'll try him again here. Hey Johnny, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, man, I know it's been a little bit of a rough night. Looks like you may have decided to call it. But, man, I mean, it's the Charlotte Roval. For the people watching at home, how tough is this track?
You got to stay focused, 100%. If you get thrown off a little bit, any point where you miss your mark or you lose control, your braking points get all messed up, and it just makes that lap a terrible lap.
Well, you still got a teammate out running in the field, Jeff Shutt. Of course, both of you made the playoffs. He's looking to see if he can advance into the round of 8. If he can find a way to get through here based off of his finish tonight, how do you try to help him make it on to the round of 4 in the next round?
Continue supporting him, helping him out, testing for him like crazy as much as I possibly can. The Roval, I was not so much of a help. He helped me. I was a lot worse than this earlier in the week, so I improved somewhat.
Yeah, certainly. I was going to say, it looks like, you know, a lot of guys have been struggling, so certainly don't feel too bad about it. But nonetheless, thanks for talking to us, Johnny. We'll see you out next week and see if maybe you're still fighting for that first win here in the last few races of the season.
Copy. Thank you.
All right. And there it is, Johnny McCulchuk for No Excuses Racing. We appreciate him giving us a quick word. And you know what? I think I'm glad for this race that I am up here on the booth and not on track. These guys, especially if you're anybody that's still on the lead lap, making it look so easy. It's just not here. And the tires have got to be all but cooked at this point in the race. As we look at the weather outside to see if it's changed much, currently 79, so it's actually cooled off. As in sim time, it is now 3:41. And the track temp wasn't too much of an issue, and that's for the best. Could you imagine if these guys were on a hot slick road course here, as loose as it already is? Jacob Musso going to probably be the next victim to go a lap down here, it looks like, as he is currently 1 minute and 10 seconds back from your leader. And he is the last man on the lead lap right now. Again, there will not be any cautions for the rest of the way. So whatever happens, it happens. And right now, Austin Fitzgerald with a 14-second lead. At this point, I think he could pretty much just cruise the rest of the way, and he still would not get caught. Andrew Kotska would have to make up over a second a lap as it stands right now if he were to catch Austin Fitzgerald before the end of this race. But Tyler Marble, the gap between him and Kotska has been holding about the same. And maybe narrowed down a little bit as it's closer to 3 seconds. It had been about 3.5 for most of the run. Tyler could still have a shot at improving his position by one more spot before the end of this race. Jeff Marble, who currently sits in 4th, he's all but got his ticket punched to the next round, assuming nothing crazy here at the end. And Joshua Watson in the 0-1. Ooh, Jacob Musso, talked about the last guy, still on the lead lap. He's had a little trouble there. I think he's just went through the grass a bit. Let's see. Same turn that's been catching a lot of guys, and yeah, sure enough, gets really close to the tire barriers, but doesn't hit them. And just goes, no harm, no foul. I mean, it's a straightaway, right? You get in the grass, you get back on the track before you get to the turn, you won't have any issues. But that did allow Austin Fitzgerald to catch him a little bit quicker, and now he is about 1 minute and 12 seconds behind the leader. And Fitzgerald is probably going to get to him here within these next 12 laps, I have a feeling. But as it stands, we started with 21 cars here tonight. Fitzgerald has put all but 7 of them, well, I guess not including himself, all but 6 of them a lap down up to this point. And we have seen a couple retirements. 20 and 21st nights came to an end early. That was Cody Richardson and Cody Matthews. And then looks like a couple more that decided to pack it up for the night looked like Cody Colley, Johnny McCulchuk, and Danny Gutierrez is actually back in the pits. Not sure if he's called up for the night or if he's trying to get some more damage repaired. But that 08, you can see it still has no front bumper from the contact earlier with Tyler Marble. If Danny's not able to make the next round, that's going to be heartbreak because, man, started off the season with a win and then had some struggles throughout a lot of the season, but finally came back to life and showed all that speed that we saw in the latter portions of the season. Made it through the first round of the playoffs. Looked like he was going to make it through the second. But now it's going to be up for grabs. We'll have to see how it all pans out when the race is made official in just over 10 and about a half laps from now, as Austin Fitzgerald continues just to wind him down, looking for his first win here during the playoffs. And I got to say, I don't know if I would have been the first guesser that it would have came here for Fitzgerald, but after you saw him for about the first 5 laps, once he took the lead here tonight, you certainly would have. And so the biggest battle on track is going to be between Tyler Marble and Andrew Kotska. And just a matter of, can Tyler catch him? Looks like the gap is still sitting at about 3 seconds as they're on the same set of corner right now, coming out of Oval 2. And where Tyler, I think, catches him a little bit is just running overall a smoother corner. But Kotska is definitely not making any big mistakes that's allowing Tyler to get up there. You see Tyler have to catch it right there on exit of the chicane. That's actually going to cost him a little bit. In fact, yeah, now he's falling back more than he was, back to about 3.5 seconds. And so as Fitzgerald takes 10 laps to go, we are going to take what should be our final side-by-side break of the night. We'll be back for the finish. Can Austin Fitzgerald hold on for 10 more laps? Stick with us. back live at the Charlotte Roval. 8 laps to go, getting ready to be 7 laps to go for your leader, Austin Fitzgerald, here as he's working his way down the back straightaway. You saw Souza with a little bit of an issue there during the break, but again, he was able to get it straightened out and continue on. And I was looking during the break. I mean, I know the broadcast up here maybe seems a little bit more boring than usual. Looking to see if we had really any battles going on track. We just don't. These guys are all so separated. Here's Souza trying to see if he can find a way to get up to Bundy. I mean, you see cars, a couple guys together, but it's not really for position. Every battle that's for position is separated by plenty. And I was looking back here a little bit. Joshua Watson still in 5th. Jeff Marble still in 4th. The podium looking around the same. Tyler Marble in 3rd. Andrew Kotska in 2nd. And Austin Fitzgerald still sitting on the saddle, leading the way. And man, he is going to be excited about this one. I'll tell you what, as a driver to get a win, you always feel good about it. But when you can come out here and dominate a race, you know that you've got speed to be here. And I don't think Austin really ever questioned it. Of course, multiple wins on the season, and he's going to most likely add another one here tonight, bearing no major issues. But man, it always feels good to get that reassurance. And right here, if you're Fitzgerald, I think you're just making sure that on some of the corners where things could go really wrong, you be a little bit extra careful, especially when you got a 15-second lead to work with. But sometimes when guys get in a zone, which is what Austin's been in here pretty much the whole night, you really can't get out of it until the race is all said and done. So I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to make very, very fast lap time the rest of the way. Let's take a look at him. Yeah, I mean, he has still consistently been in the 118s. You saw just a lap ago, he ran one of his fastest laps of the race at a 118.2. And continues to tick off laps as it is now going to be 6 to go at the line. And going back a little bit further, Tyler Marble, it was a good recovery for him. Not so much for Danny Gutierrez after that incident earlier. And looking at Jeff Marble, who is in 4th on an island all by himself. Doesn't have to worry about racing really anybody. You see Scott Glasso back there in the background. Again, not for position though. Joshua Watson, the closest guy to Jeff Marble. They're separated by about a half a track right now. And then Adrian Watts sitting in front of Jacob Musso. And that gap there is a little bit closer than what we've seen. But taking a look at that track map again, I mean, look at the separation from where the first place running car is to the last place running car. And right now, that would be looking like all the way back. You see, we got a car just now entering the front stretch chicane. Austin Fitzgerald entering the back stretch chicane. Separated by the entire distance of a track. And as this thing continues to wind down, a couple reminders here. Things you're not going to miss out on next week. Going to kick off the round of 8, final round before the championship race for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series playoffs. And it will be at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for 134 laps. That is going to be a fun one. I love Las Vegas, and I know a lot of these drivers do. Saw a great race last time we were there, and I think we're going to see more of the same. Homestead to follow it up, the last mile and a half track that we're going to head to of the season. And you're going to see guys ripping the top. Cody Richardson heard earlier in the broadcast. He said he feels like that is a track that he's going to have a good shot at it, assuming that he does make it through after tonight. Martinsville for 250 laps to round us off. The paperclip sure to probably make some tempers. Last time we were there was a mess. So who knows what's in store this time. And then Phoenix, we were already there once this season, and we're going to head back for the Championship 4 race. Looking again at that playoff picture right now, Sean Kaltenbach really needed something special here tonight to have a chance at moving on to the next round. Unfortunately, though, it's not looking like it's going to work out for the driver of the 2-car, who had a great season, multiple wins again, but here tonight did not make the race. And as a result of that, he will not advance to the next round. Looking at some of the other guys that were borderline, Scott Glasso, it's going to be close for him. I'm trying to look here in the actual playoff picture. Joshua Watson, Jeff Marble, Austin Fitzgerald, they're all looking good. Cody Richardson's going to be borderline. Tyler Marble, he looks like he'll be in. Danny Gutierrez, I think, was the biggest what-if spot. He was 13 to the good. And based off where it looks like he could finish tonight, it's going to be really close on if a guy such as Scott Glasso may be going to be able to take that position. In fact, if Brian was 13 to the good, Scott Glasso was 8. I still don't think that's enough for Glasso to get in. And then Jeff Shutt was going to need a win here tonight to get in. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. And then Andrew Needert, of course, not in the race here tonight, so he will not be advancing. So most of your round of 8 looks to be locked in, but the round of 4, there are going to be a lot of haymakers thrown on who is going to make it. And then, of course, you can't forget about the non-playoff driver points battle, where there will be money awarded at the end of the season for the winner of it. Jeffrey Souza leads it at 107 points, and it's Adrian Watts second in that battle, and he's having a better run than Souza here tonight, so he might take over the lead. Looks like he was 12 points back after last week. Brandon Bikey third in that battle, Richard Elliott in fourth, Thomas O'Hara fifth with Jared Bundy in sixth, Glenn Grigsby in seventh, Kyle Oakley back in eighth, Cody Matthews in ninth, and it's going to be Jacob Musso rounding out your top 10. I believe the winner might have been 20, somewhere between 20 and 50 bucks. I don't remember the exact number, but hey, if you could come out here and still race and have a chance to win some money, I certainly would be taking advantage of it if I was one of these guys. And where we head next here on Ghost Racing Network is going to be tomorrow, actually, to Tuesday Night Thunder. Season 3 kicked off last week, and second race of the season at Talladega Super Speedway in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Had over 30 guys last week, hoping to have more of the same this week, and the racing was phenomenal. Make sure you check it out Wednesday as well. FEG PC Money Racing, we're back with it to give it a shot this week, and we're going to watch those guys go at it for 35 laps at Talladega in the trucks. But before we get to any of that, we got business that we got to wrap up here tonight, and it is all Austin Fitzgerald. The gap still staying at about 15 seconds. So whatever it was that Kotska maybe figured out, you know what, I don't think it's so much as Kotska and Marble figured something out. I think it's more or less Fitzgerald is kind of just starting to cruise to a certain degree. Now these two, I don't know if they're quite done with each other, because Tyler Marble, he's closed it up now closer, I think actually a little bit under 2 seconds. I think right out of the cockpit view, he can see him in his windshield now, and as a driver, whenever you see that, that always makes you push just a little bit harder. But with only 2 laps to go, I think Marble is going to need Kotska to make somewhat of a mistake here if he's going to catch him. You see just how close he's able to get down to the chicane. Pretty good exit. And we'll keep an eye here. But yeah, it's looking like as it stands right now, the gap is now actually about 2.5 seconds. So Tyler was able to close it over a second during this run after once they got separated. And now he is really, really pushing the issue. If you're Tyler, though, you got to be careful. Don't push it too hard and potentially cost yourself, as you see that car launch over the sausage curbs. 2 laps to go now for Austin Fitzgerald. Normally we'd be saying last lap for a caution, but there are no cautions here tonight. So at this point, it is just all about running this next lap and a half smooth as can be, and bringing home what I believe is going to be his third, either third or fourth, I believe it's his third victory of the season. One at Atlanta, and I was trying to remember the other track that we saw him get the win. I think it might have been Vegas. Trying here tonight to do more of the same. And who would have guessed? I mean, we figured we might have saw a road course ringer, road course specialist, whatever you want to call it, get the win here tonight. But based off what we saw at Watkins Glen and Sonoma, I don't know if everybody had their chips on it being Austin Fitzgerald. But to a degree, kind of called his shot, felt like he was good at a road course, loves road racing, and man, he has got the job done here so far tonight. Through the chicane, he's going to see the white flag one more time around the Charlotte Roval. Looking to make every corner perfect as we go back, taking one more peek at this battle between Andrew Kotska and Tyler Marble. Can Conklin maybe hold up that 47 just a little bit here? I think that might be what he's doing. Try to help Tyler pick up one more spot, and not sure if Tyler slipped up or what, but he's not actually been able to close that gap yet. And Kotska's going to try to push it to the inside of the 37 here. Looks like he's going to be able to do so. Tyler Marble still trying everything to close the gap. I just don't think he's going to have enough time, as you see the pack end now fishtailing around. All this going on through the infield portions of the track. Meanwhile, Fitzgerald's hitting the high banks through 1 and 2 for the final time. And man, he has just done everything right today. Executed on the pits and executed every single lap off the pits. Not one mistake here tonight for the 74. The only thing I would say he didn't sweep was the pole, of course, which was captured by Tyler Marble. And man, his playoff picture, chances rather, to move on to the round of 4, they were certainly looking good coming into tonight. But after this dominating performance, it's going to be even better, because as he works his way through the final chicane on the front stretch, not only is he going to win at the Charlotte Roval, but he is going to lock his ticket into the round of 8. Austin Fitzgerald wins at Charlotte. The most dominating performance that we have seen so far in the playoffs. Definitely up there with one of the most dominants that we have seen throughout the entire seasons. And you got to feel like he's got to be pretty pumped about that one. There he is. Missed the initial reaction. But nonetheless, Austin Fitzgerald, we will see him racing. Continue to race for a championship next week in the round of 8. He is your winner at Charlotte. Coming in second, Andrew Kotska, and Tyler Marble finishes off your top 3, taking that last podium spot as he comes around to do a celebratory burnout. Let's take a look at your finishing results here tonight. And by the way, it looks like it's going to finish off with 6 cars finishing on the lead lap, and he almost got to Adrian Watts, about 4 seconds off. Man, oh man. All right, here we go. Looking at your results side, of course, Fitzgerald, we just saw bring home the win. Following it up in second here tonight, and actually, I don't see the race results actually up yet. Interestingly enough. See if those load up for us here in just a moment. I think it's still waiting actually for everybody to cross the line. Yeah, because we still have a couple guys that have not quite made it past the start-finish line just yet. And so as we await them to do so, we go back up front. We're going to get interviews from your top 3 here momentarily, and there you go. Austin Fitzgerald, your winner at Charlotte by a margin of over 16 seconds. On second place, Andrew Kotska. Tyler Marble finishes up in third. Jeff Marble in fourth. Joshua Watson in fifth. Adrian Watts brings home a 6th place finish here tonight. Jacob Musso in 7th. Scott Glasso in 8th. Jeff Shutt in 9th. Jared Bundy in 10th. Jeffrey Souza 11th. Bill Benedict in 12th. Brian Conklin 13th. Alan Pajari in 14th. Thomas O'Hara in 15th, with Glenn Grigsby finishing 17th. Johnny McCulchuk, in 17th. Glenn Grigsby was 16th. Danny Gutierrez back in 18th. Cody Colley in 19th, and it's going to be Cody Matthews in 20th. Cody Richardson, the last car on the field tonight, he rounds out that 21st position. Cody Richardson continues to celebrate. We'll see if he gives a couple more burnouts here as he parks it on the start-finish line. And it looks like that's exactly where he is going to stop for the night. So as he does park it, we are going to go down, see if we can get your top 3 up here for interviews. We'll be right back. Stick with us. All right, back live at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Going to start first with your 3rd place finisher, Tyler Marble. Tyler, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, you bring home a podium finish here tonight. You had everything throughout your race. You got the pole. You led a couple laps. A little bit of controversy there towards the end. Again, nothing intentional. I don't think I phrased that right, but we saw some contact between you and Danny Gutierrez. And break us down what happened through there, and then overall how you were still able to recover and bring home a podium finish here tonight.
Guy just came in way too hot. Cause just have a better feel through the chicane there, and unfortunately he was right there. There was nothing I could do. I know he's upset, but I mean there was literally nothing I can do. I'm not just gonna. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's just it's unfortunate. Gave up the lead there early, and I knew. Okay, long race strategy is going to be part of it. Just maintain a good, decent gap. And I closed the gap there late before pit stops, or the mishap there. Austin, I caught a big break, caught up a few seconds the lap prior before the Danny deal. But and then I lost time on the first few laps after the stop with Watson. So it is what it is. P3, moving on to the next round of the playoffs. I love the next 3 tracks coming up here, so yeah, I'm gonna take it. Just definitely disappointing.
Well, we know that you were one of the guys that was good on a road course, certainly proved it here tonight, and we'll see if next week maybe you can have a chance to lock in your ticket to the round of 4. Before we let you go, though, tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I thank you for broadcasting, as usual. Ghost Racing Network does a great job. I'd like to thank Sim Racer Hub, Butt Kicker, of course, Alloy Repair Specialist, Virchman, title sponsoring, everybody showing up tonight. I know road courses aren't the best kind of racing, but thank you for the ones that did show up. And teammates, everybody. Yeah, and, Vegas next week, my birthday next week. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, what better gift on the birthday than to get a win at Vegas next week? We'll see if you can pull it off. Thanks for talking to us, Tyler, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
And now we're going to bring in your second place finish here tonight, Mad Sims Racing's own. I think I said that in a couple. It's Andrew Kotska. Andrew, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Austin.
All right. Well, kind of opposite sides of the spectrums for Mad Sim Racing tonight. One of the teammates, unfortunate incident early. The other teammate brings it home on the podium in seconds. Looking like you're going to be going to the next round of the playoffs with this finish. How you feeling?
Pretty good. That was a pretty good race for me out there tonight. Tough luck for Cody. I guess he found a fun little glitch with some wall glue there on the front straight. But either way, we had a fast car tonight. Too bad I didn't have anything for Austin up there. But at least it was good points night to get us into the round 8 here. So I think Cody made it in 2. I'll have to look at points to see what happened. But good night for me at least. Tough luck for Cody.
Well, we saw the gap start to slowly flatten out towards the end of the run. Not sure if you found a way to pick it up or Fitzgerald maybe slowed it down just a little bit. But next week, we're done with road courses, of course, for the rest of the season. We're going to head to Las Vegas. A lot of guys saying that they feel confident there. How you feeling about your chances?
I wish we were going back to another road course, actually, Austin, but I think we should have a good shot at Las Vegas. Working on our setup right now. Feel like we have some speed for next week. Just hoping to get enough points here next week, maybe a win to move on to the Final Four.
All right. Well, before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just shout out to all the sponsors at Mad Sim Racing, Jevicki Insurance, PKC, all the partners there. Also a shout out to the whole Mad Sim team, Cody, Jerry Isaacs, all of us working on the Oval program. Without everyone's help here, I don't think we'd be doing anywhere near as well as we're doing right now. So thanks to everyone on the team out there.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us here tonight. You bring home a second-place finish. Congrats on it, and we'll see you next week in the round of 8.
Awesome. Thanks, Austin.
All right. Now we're going to move on to your winner here tonight, Austin Fitzgerald in the 74. Austin, this is also up the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. Can you see me on the camera right now?
Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and pull you up here. Give me just a moment.
All right. I just didn't know if you had me on camera or not. Last time, my daughter wanted to say hi, and my mic didn't pick her up. So she said, next time you win, you let me say hi.
Well, then we'll pull it up. Give me just a moment here. Well, first of all, man, I mean, just an absolute dominant performance as we do got you up now on camera. Dominant performance here tonight. You come home with the win, and you lapped all but I think about 5 cars in the field. How did you have that much speed here tonight?
You know what? Just, I guess, practice and then the team for just, coming up with a really good setup for this race. And, just kind of, taking it easy, taking care of my stuff, just trying to minimize all the mistakes. And, that race is really long, especially when you're leading almost all the laps, and it's really easy to become distracted. So I was just trying to keep myself from becoming too distracted and just trying to, hit all my markers. And fortunately, all the guys that did come across as far as lap cars go, like they're all super respectful and everything. And it's a relatively small field, so that helps. But yeah, just trying to hit my marks at every lap and just, be consistent. That's one of the secrets to road courses is just be consistent. It's one thing if you can run a few really fast laps, but if you could run, 55 solid laps, a lot of times that's good enough to win it.
Well, now that you got your first one here in the playoffs, how do you feel like that's going to maybe help boost the confidence and carry some momentum into the next couple weeks as you go try to see if you can lock yourself into the round of 4?
I think it'll definitely help. I really wanted those extra 3 points they get for winning going to the next round. 3 points, that could be the difference, between, making it or not making it to the Final Four. So, if I finished second or last, it wouldn't have made a difference going into this next round. But finishing first, those 3 points, those could be big. So, and then like you said, it's just a big confidence booster. So yeah, definitely helps.
All right. Well, before we let you go here tonight to enjoy your victory, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
My family, as always, and my 2 girls right here, and my wife Vanity, the Dynamic Auto Sports, and just Alan and all the guys over there, and the big help they've been. I always shout them out. But yeah, I'm real thankful to be on that team. And of course, Tyler, Jeff for putting on this league, you for putting on these great broadcasts, my sponsor, Acoustic Design Systems. Yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, well, thanks again for talking to us here tonight. Austin, congrats on your first win of the playoffs. Not the first one of the season. In fact, continue to tack them on here, starting to slowly catch up to Joshua Watson. We'll see you next week.
All right, see you then. Thank you.
All right, there's your winner tonight, Austin Fitzgerald, as we go back here full screen. And man, oh man, it may not have been the most exciting one, but it certainly was a dominant performance for Austin Fitzgerald as he captures, again, that first one of the playoffs here tonight. Next week, we head to Las Vegas Motor Speedway to open up the round of 8. It's going to be another exciting one. Make sure you don't miss out. Tomorrow, again, we head to RMR's Tuesday Night Thunder for some money racing action at Talladega. Until tomorrow, hope everybody enjoyed as always, and have a good night.